people were put in very difficult positions, some of them. When you are being asked by the district attorney themselves to do something, it's very difficult to say no.
Are you saying Boudin pressured his own staff to move forward with this prosecution despite a lack of evidence?
What I'm saying is that there was a personal phone call that was made requesting an investigator in this office to write that warrant, despite the fact that for years it had been clear that members of this office did not believe that that case could be charged. I do believe that this case appears to have been filed for political motivations, based on a promise that police officers would be charged, and that is not something that I feel is ethical or appropriate to proceed on.
This all happened while George Gascon was DA, and he chose not to move forward in this case. But your predecessor, Chesa Boudin, did decide to prosecute and is now saying your decision to dismiss is, quote, offensive, and says your reasoning is dishonest. How do you respond?
As a black woman who grew up in this country, as a mother of a black son, the wife of a black man, I have 3 young black nephews, I take these types of cases extremely seriously. These are issues that are far more personal to me than they are to him, because he will never have to have a conversation with his son about the fact that he could be killed by the police if he moves the wrong way in his vehicle.
While you're saying you don't believe the evidence is there to move forward, it doesn't seem like you agree with how things actually played out that day.
I can have a personal opinion about the facts of a case. This was a very difficult scene to watch, but the law is the standard here, not Brooke Jenkins' personal feelings.
Do you think Keita O'Neal should have been shot that day?
Of course. I have feelings that I wish it wouldn't have gone down that way. But unfortunately, I was not in the position to have to make that split-second decision. And at this point, I shouldn't be making a determination of what I believe should have happened in that split second.
Chesa Boudin says if the reasons for prosecuting the case were so flawed, then why did a judge sign the arrest warrant? Why did the city of San Francisco agree to a $2.5 million settlement to the family of the man who was shot and killed?
Unfortunately, the standard for an arrest warrant is probable cause, which means it's more likely than not. The standard is not the same for what it requires us when we bring charges. The standard is proof beyond a reasonable doubt. They're 2 very different thresholds. The other thing that I would say, the city has the right to settle civil cases. The standard is also lower than the threshold in a criminal case. So you can't draw those 2 comparisons.
What do you say to those who might see this as a sign that you're not willing to stand up to police and the abuse of power by officers?
I would say that that's an incorrect interpretation of what's going on here. The police will be held accountable by my administration, but I will always follow the law.